Today, May 4th of 2023, the Grand Canyon National Park hosted a renaming ceremony at the top of the Bright Angel Trail. In November of 2022, the park released a press statement that read, "The U.S. Board of Geographic Names voted unanimously 19-0 earlier this month in favor of the formal request submitted by the National Park Service on behalf of the Havasupai tribe to change the name of Indian Garden, FID number 6209, to Havasupai Gardens. I attended today's ceremony and recorded audio so that those of you who could not make the ceremony could hear the words of the NPS and Havasupai tribal members who made this change possible. I'm going to let the audio play out uncut, with just a little bit of light editing to help cut down on the wind. Today was a very windy day. I also recorded this in stereo, so with headphones on, it'll feel even more like you're right there with us. The recording is approximately an hour and 12 minutes, so it's just that perfect amount of time to listen to on a long northern Arizona drive. This episode is not sponsored. It was recorded on public land at a public event, and I would like to give a special thanks to the Grand Canyon National Park, the Grand Canyon Conservancy, and the Havasupai tribe for putting this event together for the public. Enjoy the Havasupai Gardens renaming ceremony.
Good afternoon, everybody. If I could get folks' attention, we're going to get started here. My name is Jan Balsam, and I work in the superintendent's office here at Grand Canyon. But before that, I was working with the Havasupai tribe since I think I was from time immemorial, as my friends will tell me. So we go back a long ways, and it is my pleasure to be able to host everyone here at Grand Canyon and to get us started today for the official renaming ceremony for Havasupai Gardens. I'd like to have Diana Suyukwala join us here to do an official Havasupai welcome. So if you will, Diana Sue will be joining us as she's coming around the corner, I believe.
Hey, Pacha Puya Kakaya Matakabame Hanka. I say to the young and old and all the other people that are here today, it is truly a honor and great respects to our ancestors before us that today we are reclaiming the Havasupai Gardens, as it's going to be called. We came up the trail that thousands of years of our people's existence, they came in and out of the canyon. It was not just one, but many of us that are sitting here are the descendants of the Havasupai people. So that was why we came out the trail, reminding ourselves that it was hardships, but there was the courage and the willingness and the ability to survive. So we existed here on the Grand Canyon. We are very honored today. I understand my people are here today, and I'm thankful for them to be here. I have my grandson with me that has put on the ram horns, as he was once a warrior many thousands of years ago to protect his people. That's why he came out first, and he looked to make sure that I was safe, that I could be here and stand here. But that was the way it was long ago, that they protected us. With that said, I say, bakyove bamhaka wakta haikuyayim yan evcha. I ask Spirit for permission to speak English, as Havasupai is my first language. I ask today, in this beautiful time and in this beautiful place, to acknowledge the ancestors, the wisdom keepers, and the people that did build and put things up that are still here in this time. I thank the people that are here today from our village in Supai. I give thanks to all the allies that have been part of our journey, as many of our elders were very connected with the allies here. Some of the rangers that have been here have always been a part of our journey, letting us understand, giving us information that we needed to know. But I ask today that the Spirit bless us all, that we are here in victory of all, not just the Havasupai people, but the victory of the human race, because this will ensure that we keep it safe and keep it from harm, that your children, your children's children can see this master altar and give thanks just by walking on the rims of this canyon. But the other part of it is that once you go into this canyon, it is so powerful. And a lot of lessons I learned from the people that go on river trips. So I ask today that we be blessed in this way to each and every one of us today. And in my elder that has left us, he used to be a ranger here, but he was very much a mentor to me, and even though he got old, and I went to the meetings that he usually was associated with, I would go home and tell him what was going on. And he always said thank you. And he said never forget. You keep going. You keep fighting. Speak on the behalf of the people, he would say. So with this, me and this young warrior are going back down into the canyon. But he left this song and he said, we are all being brought back into that circle once again, and to see a good future for ourselves. And this is not just the native people, but all the people of the world, the two-legged, the one-hearted, the five-fingered, one-minded. Eh, mahanje.
So I want to just recognize the importance of what Diana Sue just left us with. It goes to your heart and to your soul. And with that, I'd like to invite our superintendent, Ed Keeble, to come and say a few words and welcome us all to Grand Canyon National Park.
Thank you, Jan. So first I'd like to welcome everyone to the Grand Canyon for this momentous moment. To our Havasupai friends and colleagues, welcome home. On behalf of the National Park Service and the Grand Canyon National Park, we are honored to join the Havasupai tribe in commemorating this occasion. We believe this is symbolic of a new era of cooperation and collaboration between the National Park Service and Indigenous communities. Over the past 2 years, park staff have worked closely with the Havasupai Tribal Council and tribal members through the process of the Havasupai Garden name change. I'd like to thank and recognize the Tribal Council for their persistence and coordination with the National Park Service. I'd also like to recognize the many Havasupai community members who have worked with the Park Service through education and advocacy so that we can better understand and therefore better protect this special place. In particular, I want to welcome and thank Carletta Toulouse, Diana Sue Ukwala, Ophelia Warahamachi Corliss, James Ukwala, Don Warahamaji, Colleen Casca, and many others within the Havasupai community. So thank you all for your work with us. I'd also like to recognize specifically Ukwala, who is with us here today and who has been conducting monthly pilgrimages on the full moon to Havasupai Gardens. Consistent with our vision of increased access to this place and the opportunity to provide interpretive programs directly to visitors from tribal members. I'd also like to thank leaders of many of the other tribal communities traditionally associated with the Grand Canyon who formally supported this name change. I'd like to recognize our staff, primarily Elissa Shala, Cameron Krause, Kaylee Brennan, Raider Lane, Mike Linden, and others who have been working with members of the Havasupai tribe on the development of the new interpretive materials about Havasupai Gardens, as well as Havasupai's connection to the canyon. We anticipate rotating displays of interpretive programming at Havasupai Gardens, identifying and ultimately change inappropriate and problematic place names within the Grand Canyon National Park. Our goal is to recognize indigenous connections to to places within the park. Places and the landscape they represent provide important connections to history for people and communities. Our hope is that we will have many renaming recognition opportunities in the future. Thank you.
I know the secret's spoiled now. Thank you, Ed, for those words, and I think all of us here really feel a dedication to the work that we've done, and seeing a culmination today is just fabulous. At this point, I'd like to welcome the Vice Chairman for the Havasupai Tribe, Edmund Toulouse, to come up and offer some words and remarks on behalf of the tribe. And Edmund, I know you're out there someplace. Hiding behind Susan.
So which mic is it? This one or that one? This one here, the heavy one? Yeah. Hello, can you hear me? Hey, Hanko, Bache, Kwekakaya, Haiku. Yes, I'm welcoming you. Thank you for being here. I'm honored to be here. Hey, Mahimam, Yasiv Yat Edmund Toulouse, Vice Chairman, Havasupai Tribe. And just like I said, I said that thank you for being here for us today. This is a very important day for us and for the national park. And every little animal you see around here in the trees, and you see the air is blowing really hard, and everything's really nice here. So let me get down here, and I'll show you. I'll talk to you a little bit about the Grand Canyon, a little bit in my part here. Like I said, this is a very important moment for the Havasupai tribe. We have lived and roamed around the Grand Canyon. Hakyo. Hakyo is down there. We call that Hakyo, Indian Gardens. Now it's going to be Havasupai Gardens. We call it Hakyo, which means place of the cottonwood trees. So remember that. Place of the cottonwood trees. Hakyo is called. Since time immemorial, yes, our ancestors have once spread and wide here throughout the region, and what later became known as the Grand Canyon National Park. And with great sadness, of course, you know how time is. The federal government wanted to make this a national monument or a national park. So we saw, and everybody knew, and that the people who came here saw how beautiful this place was, how spiritual it was, and how much it was in awe to them. And so they wanted to make it a park. With the federal government removed our ancestors. In 1928 was one of the last Havasupais to be removed. This was my great-great-grandfather, Captain Burrow, his name was. Now, you kind of wondered, maybe you're wondering why they named him Captain Burrow. There you go, thank you. You're probably wondering why they named him Captain Burro. Can you hear me now? Well, you see the trail here, the Bright Angel Trail. Back in those days, there wasn't a trail then. He made his way down there to Hagyo, to farm and to live down there. Even further back, Captain Burro's father was the first one to live there. He gardened there, lived there. So it was his father, almost 200 years ago, that founded the Hagyo and moved in that area. So Captain Burro continued his father's legacy. And of course, when the park wanted to make this into a park, they wanted the natives to be removed from Indian Gardens. And so he fought because he didn't want to leave his home. He didn't want to leave his gardens. So he fought until 1928. He was forcibly removed then. And so, as tragic as these events were, we are proud to have never left the Grand Canyon. Our home is still the Grand Canyon. We're the only tribe that has remained here within the canyon. We know this place intimately, and the canyon is a part of each and every Havasupai person. It is our home. It is our land, and it is our well-being. After many years and endless support from the Grand Canyon National Park, we are proud that the millions of people who come to visit the Grand Canyon each year will formally see our tribal name as Havasupai Gardens and reflect on the continued presence of the Havasupai tribe in this area. As guardians of the Grand Canyon, we have a duty not only to our ancestors like Captain Burro, who fought tirelessly to remain at Hagyo, but we all have a duty to our children and our future generations to ensure that our history will never be forgotten and our voice will never be unheard. In closing, I'd like to thank Grand Canyon National Park Superintendent and his staff, particularly Mike. Also, I'd like to thank Mike Linden, Superintendent Ed Keeble, like I said, and the U.S. Board of Geographical Names for honoring the federal government's trust responsibility to the Havasupai tribe. And once again, thank you very much. It is an honor for me to be here. Thank you. Hankyu Paje, Hankyu Uya, Hankyu Manya. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chairman Lucy. It is my honor at this point to invite some of my colleagues and friends who have worked on this for many years to offer a few remarks as well. And I'd like to start with my good friend Upala. If you would like to come up and say a few words, that would be wonderful.
This moment, for that ability for you to gather, is auspicious in that this, the divine source, is one that has allowed for us to bring a consciousness to the beauty and the power of what this is all around us. The responsibilities that we have as a two-leggeds on this, the Mother Earth, we must realize that what has been gifted to each and every one of us beginning from that first breath that we took, to know that with that breath we were given that opportunity to walk, talk, breathe, sing, and dance on this, the Mother Earth. The cycles that exist, the generations that come and go. What we must remember is the foremost, which is this that is beneath us, the Mother Earth. What you see behind you, the essence of creation that has allowed for us to begin to understand that within our earth walks, we are given that opportunity to be in harmony, alchemy, balance with all this that is around us. For whatever language and culture that you are a part of, you must first recognize the fact that we all are on top of what is known within all cultures as the Mother Earth. Without this Mother Earth, we have no surface to walk, talk, breathe, sing, or dance on. For your heart's presence here today, though it may have been conscious for you to be called for attendance, the beauty of this moment are for those that are the seekers and pilgrims that magically walked upon this moment of ceremonial opening. Within the cultures and the ways of all that are the sentinels of this Mother Earth, through the cycles we are called to bring in respect, to bring in the honor, to bring in that unconditional love for all that we see around us. We must step away from what those obligations are of this moment on a level that is not with that spirit connect. In the ways of ancestors and culture, they recognize that you are each gifted a special gift to utilize within your earth walk for the total length of it. When this canyon speaks, it speaks with a calling. It calls to every single one that is brought to its rim. See me, hear me, talk to me, let me touch you, let me heal you. The power of what this is beyond words that we are able to express within our languages. That is why in the culture they utilize the medicine tools of the drums, the chants, the callings to what were of the ancients. One of the most powerful speakers that is present right now is this element of the medicine winds. They are in such joy as the essence of the winged one that flies over us and says, we are, because we are in harmony with the Mother Earth. As we are, we give you that example that you too must also be that oneness of this, to be that watcher, that protector, that one that awakens, that connections to all that is the unspoken. We have to open our hearts now to a new language That language is not word, but that language is in that connection of the many peoples that are within you. This is the medicine term to connecting with the emotions within you. Let them be expressed. Let them be in leadership for the moment as needed. As you do so, then allow for yourself to see that your step is not to help you. It is to help all that are the inhabitants of this, the Mother Earth. The beauty that is gifted for those that come into this sacred portal opening of the Grand Canyon. If given the permission, they can walk into this and connect with the ancestors, that culture and the ways of all. Baj Nawavo, the place where the people roam. This canyon has portals that open to dimensions. We, as the two-leggeds, are simply the sentinels to watch over it, to know that within the energy vibrations that we put forth allows for those that are of our relations, brothers and sisters, to walk in the way that is good and have heart take lead. This canyon spoke a lesson long ago, and it remains there to this day. This magnificence of medicine simply said, be like me. If you look at this canyon is not just white. It is not just black. It is not just red. It is not just yellow. But it is all the colors. Yet they stand together in harmony, in balance, and stand strong, tall, and proud. The most simplistic of teachings that should be understood by all that makes a visit onto this medicine land. Do not come from a place of entitlement. Come from a place that you contribute into the whole, with the medicines that is gifted you, and that collective will awaken yet another level of medicine from this canyon. And as the canyon portals open, it will speak to every single individual, and you will come out of this canyon a better being. When the medicine orators spoke, they spoke for the collective of all that gathered. For one to speak at that level and frequency, the body that oratory comes from, too must go through ceremony. The cleansing through fasting to cleanse the body, and at that moment of calling, to be that vessel in which Source speaks through us. I want you to take a moment as I close to put a heart-led thought out there. For this, let it come from the unconditionality of your heart. For this simply commemorates that sacred, holy pilgrimage that will go down into what will be now known as Havasupai Gardens. There will be a ceremonial holy pilgrimage of a hiker to walk down. We will have a ceremonial Havasupai delegation convene down there tomorrow. And in that connect will awaken and have communion with the ancestors. For all that you see that are the watchers here, it is not us as the two-leggeds. It is the tree people, the rock people, the winged people, the four-legged people, the cloud people, all that is of creation. Remember this to heart always, and don't allow for yourself to be the I, but allow for yourself to be a part of this magnificent spiritual whole that we all have a very critical part in its evolution. My first language is Havasupai, and I speak it fluently. Though within the way evolution has brought about for us to heal the whole of the Mother Earth, my language cannot be understood by the four winds. Therefore, this English brings forth words that must touch your heart. It is you. It is in the tellings of old that it was not a group in the beginning. It was one individual who had vision and connection with divine source that birthed this thought into the tribes, into the peoples, into the nations, into the cosmos. I simply close with a Havasupai saying, Bakyova, divine creator source. Vanyavme, today. Bam Hagika, see us. Bam of Soka, take care of us. Bam Jeva, heal us. Hanikyo, it is good. Hanikyo, it is good. Hanikyo, it is good. Hanikyo, it is good. Many, many blessings.
Thank you, Paula, for those important words. I'd like to now invite my good friend Carletta Toulouse up. Carletta and I have worked together for many years, and this is the culmination of a lot of effort on her part as well. So please, Carletta Toulouse.
Hi. Good evening, everyone, or good afternoon, I'm sorry. It's been a long day. Welcome, everyone, to the Grand Canyon. Week Odva, Vajyo, Havsu, Baje, Puye, Hanke, Gudumda, Muk, Navame, Walbaye, Quekakaye, Bamye, Manavak, Vak Michin, Hanke, Teme, Kwehan, Gayujak, Vak Tikavia. Ê, nhàn tiêu cho chị nhàn po cho cút và am cho mute kêu cho tôi exponia family nhà wit như cái nào cho mít mà các han tôi và quan ít para tay tôi có mình lúa cả quê khoal cả quê bayut và quan mute cho như vuas pawa sip chỉ cả khắp hết ít cút cứ chấp bay senyala sa wadahamichi sa kayu chụp tek vật bay na wa kwayo mit kita with bay ham puik pem kya nya chi chum chin tam ya nya dwim chin ya hip vakyo kya nya kwao chin ya hit vakyom tam kya ha kwe nya kan it nya kan wit nya vak bam vak tikav ya ha pawa sivum chika so nya tunyi kwa siv van ya han kyo yika matava wasip ka kut nyan tutiucha nyan tevyo pa wasivum chik ha kwe kayut nya tunyuk Vakvatya. Good evening or good afternoon, everyone. Again, my name's Carletta Toulouse. I'm from the Havasupai tribe. I have helped serve the tribe for many years in different capacities, and so I've been asked to be here to help commemorate the naming of Hakyo Havasupai Gardens, back to our original name, back in honor of our ancestors, back in honor of all the injustices that were caused against my family and my people. That is, this step forward is going to bring healing to our community, healing to me, healing to my great grandmothers and grandfathers that roamed in this area. That's the way I feel today, that it's a very important historic moment that opened the door to other tribes, that's opened the door to the Wallapais, the Havasupais, the Zunis, renaming your land back. Go to your sacred places. Don't just talk about it. Go over there, rename them. Walk those trails that your ancestors walked. Remember those hard stories, those injustices that our people had to go through. Teach your children. That's what happened to me. My parents taught me stories, taught me all the things the hardships that they went to. And they encouraged us, go to school, get an education, come back and help your people. Don't just sit back home and expect a handout. Don't just stay on the reservation. Go back, go to school, help your community. Because if we don't speak up, these injustices are going to continue to our children and to their grandchildren. So I just wanted to bring that up, that's the way I was raised. Not to sit back and be quiet, but to speak out on any type of injustices occurring right now and also in the past. So I hope that this ceremony and this celebration will bring healing and education and persistence of cultural preservation in this park. And that would help other tribes continue to preserve their sacred places. So Hangyo, on behalf of my family, my community, and my tribe, we've come a long ways to this day. It's taken us over 20 years to name this place back our home, Hakyo, on behalf of my great-great-great-grandfather. Hankyo, thank you for your time. Thank you to all the employees and everyone and all the tribes as well that supported us. Hankyo.
Thank you, Carletta. Yeah, it's been a long time coming. And the last person I'd like to invite up is somebody who's been working on this as well for quite a while. And Ophelia, I'd like for you to come up and offer a few words because you've spent a lot of heart and soul helping us get through to where we are today. So please join us.
Good afternoon, everybody. I think I just caught the tail end of this fight. Haniko, Diana, Edmund, Equala, Carletta, all your words. That's great. I really appreciate that. It's very important for everyone here to hear that, to understand that. What honestly comes to mind is something my friend Ed Cabote said. He said that every single Havasupai he has ever met is outspoken. They are outspoken for a reason. They're outspoken for their life. We are either speaking out against uranium mining, to have clean drinking water, to save our community, speaking up for the land, the Grand Canyon, speaking up for relatives and families. I hope that it continues to help inspire other tribes. I hope it continues to help inspire federal patriarchy, the forward progression of change. Like I said, I caught the tail end of this. I'd be considered the younger person in this fight, but yet I'm 37. Maybe that is young, maybe it's old. That's up to you.
You want to say something? You want to say something?
It just happened to be the stars were aligned and it was the right time. It's this fight's beyond this. It's ancestors. Since the formation of the reservations, since the taking of the land, Havasupais have been speaking up against their own injustices. Havasupais have actually convinced the old,
Good job, babies.
have been convincing the old Indian agents to try to lobby on their behalf. Even before the 1900s, they knew that the measly 500 acres or so was not going to be enough for the Havasupai. They convinced those Indian agents to send back letters to the federal government letting them know that we needed more land, but we were just consistently ignored, consistently ignored, consistently ignored. Through the establishment of the monument and the national park, the Havasupai have never left. Supai Camp still exists within the boundaries of the national park. I have cousins who live there. We all have family who live there. There are also remnants of our old homes there, every family's homes, all of our band's homes. So it's a good day. It's a good time. Once again, thank you, Ed Keeble. Thank you, Mike Linden. Thank you for just giving me space to write an article that maybe might have helped push a little bit of this issue. Also, tribal council and the community. Nobody's up here working on this without support from the community. Nobody's up here working on this probably without support of tribal council. And the families, the Toulouses who are here, there's going to be time for the community to come up and speak, and I hope you come up and speak your mind. Let everybody here know what you're thinking, how grateful we are as an entire community. This is Havasupai history, and Havasupais are making history today with the renaming of Hakio, Havasupai Gardens. So I'd just like to thank everybody for being here. Also the time and space to find out what we needed to do in order to change the name, the legal process, the lawyers provided by the National Park. I think this is a good example of collaboration, and I hope it continues to be collaborative for other tribes in the area. The Grand Canyon means a lot to other tribes, not just the Havasupai. But today we are celebrating the Havasupai. We are celebrating all of our ancestors' hard work, all of their requests that were never heard up until this point. It's the right time, and it's the right place. And you being here, you're witnessing history, new history, a collaborative history that we can continue to progress forward and help the next and future generation of Havasupai. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ophelia, and your daughter, for her words. They start them early, speaking out, and it's a pleasure. I mean, at this point, I'd like to invite Ed Keeble back up to the official unveiling of our new signs. Some of these will be given to the Havasupai tribe to take down to tribal offices as well.
So, Carletta, do you want to come up and join me? Edmund? Diana Sue? Eupaula? Where's Ophelia? You want to bring your daughter back? Maybe we'll give her the opportunity to give a tug on this. thank you all for joining. Oh, we got more. Never mind. I just do what Jan tells me to do here in the park. So.
So we have the official sign now that will be at the trailhead. It'll also, we're redoing the signs down at Havasupai Gardens. As Euquala said, there'll be a ceremony down there tomorrow. Ophelia mentioned it, but are there members of the Havasupai tribe who have not yet spoken who'd like to come up and say anything? So I want to offer that space. And then the Guardians of the Canyon, the Ram Dancers, will do a performance for us in a couple minutes here. So any community members want to join us? So like we've got at least one.
Kamita han ke baim na vag mam taka pamban na yuaya tieka. Na Sivia Rochelle Talusi itka. Natala Rex Talusi itka. Welcome everyone. My name is Rochelle Talusi. I am the daughter of Rex Talusi, who fought tirelessly as well with the national park to try to find out answers as to why the government wanted us to leave our home. The story that my dad told me while I was growing up about Captain Burrow, my great grandfather, was that he lived down in Indian Gardens among other tribal members, and they farmed there. And like during the summer and then during the winter, we would be hunting up here on the plateau. And I guess Theodore Roosevelt came and saw the Grand Canyon and thought it was so beautiful that he wanted to preserve it in its natural state, and decided to make Grand Canyon into a national park. And he asked the tribe to leave. So one by one, the tribal members started to leave Indian Gardens, except for our great grandfather, Captain Burrow. He remained there. He put his foot down and said, "No, I'm not leaving my home. This is my home," And I guess my dad told us that the name Burrow came from our great grandfather carrying watermelon on his back with a burden basket up the trail, and visitors who were here watched him come up that trail and they laughed at him. They said, "Look at that burro, look at that mule." They derogatory names too, and I guess that's how we got our name Burrow, and that was our original last name until my grandfather Paul had his daughters. He had 8 daughters, and my dad was the youngest son. And those girls went to school, and they were made fun of. They called them jackasses. They called them burros, mule, donkey, and it hurt them. So my grandfather decided to change our last name, and he chose the Luisa, which means landmark in Havasupai. And the white man chose to pronounce it as Talusi. And that's where our last name changed. And I'm just so honored to be here today with all of you to celebrate the renaming of Indian Gardens to Havasupai Gardens. It's been a very long time coming. I wish my dad was here to have seen this, but I know he's watching down and he's smiling and he's very, very proud of this fight, this long, long fight that he was a part of as well. He worked with the National Park Service for about 9 years. And he shared our story with visitors from all over the world. And there would never be a dry eye in the audience. I just want to say thank you so much for recognizing our family. Thank you. And our tribe, you know. It is a huge honor. Thank you. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, thank you, Rochelle. And I want to say that your father was a huge influence on me in my life, and I know he's here watching us.
Hello, my name's Carlos, and I'm a descendant of the Burrow family. And my uncle Rex, he taught me a lot about Supai stuff. And he told me when the burrow came out, my ancestor, he put his mark on the rock. And like on my face, you see this paint here on my face? It looks like that, but like it'll be a fingerprint. When you go through this first tunnel right here, this very first tunnel, stop there and look up, and you're gonna see a mark, and that's his mark. And he told me that. Not a lot of people know about that, but if you guys go there, it's not even very far. It's just right here, and that's his mark.
So are there any other Havasupai tribal members who want to say anything? Because if not, I know we have a few minutes available from Rex himself that Rochelle graciously shared, that we're going to hear his voice talking to us, and then the Guardians of Ram Dancers will be closing out our event.
Okay, what brought me to make this recording was I work here for the park. Not only visitors do come here on the rim, but they also come into the canyon, where the famous waterfalls are, where the Havasupai live, in a hidden paradise, a hidden Shangri-La. A lot of those that come here see pictures of the waters. They think they can drive right up to those waters, but it is hard to get to. One has to walk, hike, mule ride, helicopter ride into the canyon. There's no cars, buses in the canyon, so these beautiful waterfalls is hard to reach. And I wanted to have the visitors who come here at least get a view of what is inside the canyon. And also with the many visitors who come here, I get a lot of questions asking who were here before the park? What happened to those people? And where are they today? And many visitors who come here, they want to see native people, they want to drive or come to the nearest reservation. But the nearest reservation they can drive to is to the east of us, which is like an hour and a half away, and that's the Navajo reservation. But a lot of people come through there, and they've already driven through there, but it seems a lot of them, they don't get to see native dancers or their language or their songs, their stories. And I think a lot of them are interested in learning about native people. And that's one of the questions I get as I have worked here for the past 5 years. And that's the questions I get from almost every visitor who come here to the canyon. They want to see native people. They want to see a reservation. I always say the nearest one is just below the rims, but this reservation below the rim is hard to reach. And the only way to get there is to walk, mules, or the helicopter. And also the history of my people who have lived not only in the canyon but also up here on the rims where we are today, where the many visitors who come to see the canyon on the rim, walk along the rims. And this is an area where my people have lived in the past, down in the canyon where the trails are, down where Indian Gardens is at. That's where my relatives used to live. My great-great-grandfather, he's the man that gardened down below. And when he was forced out of the canyon by the government, and when my people were told to leave this area, we all headed back into the canyon, and we have lived there ever since. And this is the reasons why I wanted to reveal to the public, to the visitors who want to learn more about the canyon, people who were here before, what we see today, and the natives who live in this area still live here today, just below the rims. And the Havasupai are regarded by other natives around the rims as the keepers, guardians, protectors of the canyon. And the things that we have done in the past to protect the canyon has never been told to the public or has never been revealed to any other outsider except the Havasupai. And I felt it is time now for the voice of the Havasupai, the Havasupai who have lived in and out of the canyon ever since this canyon formed. It is time for us to reveal the Havasupai way of how we protect and how we have lived in this area ever since this canyon formed. And that's the reason why I wanted to record this tape so I can have the public share the knowledge, the stories, our history, which has never been revealed to any other outsiders before, so that they can learn about life in the canyon, how we have lived and survived in the canyon. And this is one of the reasons I wanted to have all this included in this tape. Also our festivals, our ceremonies, when we have these and how we celebrate giving thanks to the Great Spirit. And these are the things I wanted to have included in this video. Also, I would like to have the young ones, the little ones also involved in this tape so that they too can also feel they are a part of the canyon and that they still live here and that they are the ones that are going to be responsible for the future of the canyon, and that it is their job to protect what we have below the rims. And I felt this video will be important not only to the visitors but also to the people who live in the canyon, to my people, to also view this where they can learn and carry our way of life into their young children and their families. So this is why I wanted to have this videotape made so that I can share the stories, the history of the Havasupai to the visitors and to others who want to know more about the canyon.
I think many of us were fortunate enough to know Rex, and his words still are true. At this point, we're going to rearrange things a little bit and invite the Ram Dancers up. They will close out the part of the public event for today. So give us a few secs here to move some things around, and the Ram Dancers will be up in a few. wedding tree. The wedding tree.
Excuse me.
Takes a mighty warrior who transforms himself into a big horn.